So historically, minorities have voted Democratic, and we actually have a story in our new print magazine, America the Plurality, where a source speculates that the Republican Party is going to have to start from the ground up because historically they haven't had much minority support. What do you guys think about the state of the Republican Party when this shift does take place?
I think sometimes the Republican Party on the national level puts themselves in very strict beliefs, and they need to look at they need to look at the country. They need to look at what it's becoming. Do they want to win elections and win half the war, or do they want to sit off to the side and lose? Just my frank opinion.
Yeah, they're kind of a sort of an endangered species. They certainly could be. I don't think there's much question about it. At least not in my mind, there's no question about that. I'm going to just go a little off the path a little bit, but I can tell you an interesting little story about what's happened. We've kind of wrestled out the State House the last few years with LGBT issues, and I've come to this conclusion. We're not for the people from the extreme religious bent who descend upon the state from out of state by the hundreds, if not thousands, and yell and scream at us and carry on like idiots. And if it were not for the national LGBT folks who come in here and do exactly the same thing on the other side, we could have reached a logical, rational Hoosier solution to that problem. I honestly, truly believe that. So 2 years ago, I kind of embarked on a journey. I have met 7 times with members of the upper echelon of the LGBT communities and the transgender folks, and have developed some really neat friendships with those people. So now we understand each other. We talk on a regular basis. We trust each other. Okay? And we're working, we just had a meeting a month ago. We're working on some solutions with some bills to try to bring forward this coming year where we can solve some of these problems in a realistic, rational way that works for everybody. But I can tell you what will happen, maybe. We'll have the same thing happen again. Okay, we'll have people from both sides of the spectrum who don't even live in the state, or some of them will, who will make it darn near impossible for us to pull that off. Okay, they will so polarize and so antagonize the members of the General Assembly that we'll probably figure out a way to punt and not have to do anything, which is a tremendous disservice not to just the LGBT folks, but to the citizens of the state of Indiana as a whole. Okay, so it's what you see in the media is not always what's going on. Okay, all they want to show you is the rancor and the uncivil discourse that takes place, which is very minimal, as James will tell you, extremely minimal, rare actually. And you'll see no reporting whatsoever of rational, logical people sitting down discussing the issues, trying to reach a solution. You won't see it, but it does exist. And we try. Not everybody tries, but a lot of us try. Yeah, I could do this for about an hour, but I won't.
So obviously I'm gonna follow that up. I definitely think there are two sides, and the very religious right is definitely against LGBT issues, to kind of focus on that. And the media definitely covers what is more interesting and what is gonna sell newspapers and sell magazines and what's gonna get people to turn the TV to that channel. But I think it's part of the accountability of a politician to remember that those extremists on either side don't reflect the majority of people. And it's important that they kind of drown some of that out and make the decision that's best for everybody and kind of ignore that as much as they can. Because otherwise we're gonna be stuck with bills that, or nothing's gonna get done, as you said, and no choice is gonna be made. because we have to support each other. Obviously, I'm on the side of equality. I'm on the side of the LGBT plus people deserve rights and deserve the same equality and freedoms that everybody else has. But I think it's important that politicians can make those choices and decisions that reflect the community and reflect positive outlooks in the future and don't allow for discrimination.
Anyone else? Okay, well, I'd like to conclude my questions by asking you all, why is it so important that Ball State students get out and vote tomorrow?
Well, personally, I'm not actually from Indiana, I'm from Missouri, so I absentee today. So I voted absentee and mailed in my ballot, but it's so important to make sure that your voice is heard and make sure you do your research on the rest of the candidates on the ballot. Like, not only, like, you're voting on more than just the presidency, you're voting on your governor, your lieutenant governor, your attorney general. There's so many different things on the ballot and so many things that affect you more personally. Every single House Representative seat in the state of Indiana is up for election this year, all 100. So find out who your representatives are, find out who your senators are, and make sure that your voice is heard in the election.
Yeah, I think that everyone can have an issue that they are passionate about, that they can apply that to the election and have that the reason that they're going to vote. But me and my girlfriend actually are driving 2 hours south just so that she can vote because her absentee application didn't get there, or there's a problem with it or something like that. So if we can drive 4 hours round trip, you can go vote.
Well, tomorrow's the season finale of America. But on a lighter note, on a more serious note, I'm reminded of a story that I was told growing up about how, at least for our African American experience, of how for us so many people died, were whipped, marched, just so I could have the right to vote, just like anybody else in this room. And whether I like the candidates or not, I have an obligation to pay off that debt they took on upon themselves. They didn't have a country that saw them as equal. And they pass on a country now that sees me, I hope at least, as close to equal as the rest of it. So for me, it's important to get out there to vote because so many people from African Americans to women, from immigrants, they have done so much to build this country and to continue what our founding fathers started. And as Hamilton became so popular this year, and I listened to the songs and saw how imperfect our founding fathers were and how flawed they were. Despite all, I felt like when you look back at history, they had it so much worse. They had to start a whole new country. We still have a country. All we have to do is just go vote, and our leaders get switched out. They had to dispel a whole entire country just so they could be independent. We owe it to our founding fathers who came together, who compromised, who were bitter towards one another, to our ancestors who slaved away, to our moms and grandmothers and the women who came before them who marched in the streets, to everybody else who have continued on this American experiment. And as Benjamin Franklin said to one who asked what kind of country or government we were going to have, he said a republic, if we can keep it. So let's keep it. Because this is our government, our country. It doesn't belong to anybody else.
I will be enthusiastically voting tomorrow at the national level as well as at the state and local level. And so if for some reason you're not enthusiastic about one of those levels, I hope that you find another level that you are excited about. But I also think what's important about engaging in that civic ritual is that it will hopefully build enthusiasm for other arenas of participation. So I don't know if this is allowed to be said on a panel about democracy, but I mean, I think we really fetishize voting. And while it's important, and I'm glad that you do it, and I hope that you do it, I also think that there's a lot of action that needs to happen in the 4 years in between the voting, or in between the 2 years in which we vote. And I love Ball State students. I think you're creative. I think you're passionate and empathetic. And so you're exactly the voices that our elected officials should want to have at the ballot boxes.
Vote so you can complain. If you don't vote, you have no, I don't want to hear anything out of you for 4 years, it'll come around again. So, it's as simple as that. People would come to my office and I would never ask what party they voted. But I said, did you vote? Well, you know, and I would still listen to the conversation, but if you want to complain, you need to vote. I don't care who you vote for, just go vote.
That was classic, Dan, that was great. You have a sacred obligation to do so. People have died so you could do it. People have died so you could do it.